man. Spread the floor, episode 50. We've been doing a lot of projects recently, but we have to throw it back to our modern day, our home, the come up. You know what I'm saying?
Episode 50, the big 5-0.
Good old faithful. The episode 50. We're going to be continuing, with this 10-minute format, and we obviously have the other show to expand.
That's
but
right.
Today we did want to talk about your New York Knicks going on a 9-game win streak.
I know, right there. I got the hat.
Oh, baby. How does it feel, man? Let's start out with that. How does it feel to be a Knicks fan that is finally getting treated to some actual good NBA action?
Well, see, here's the thing. As you know, I've been a Knicks fan my whole life.
Right.
And, I was there for the Carmelo Anthony days. I was there for, the never getting past the first round of the playoffs except for 1 year, you know what I'm saying? When they made it to the second round, I think that was in 2012.
Right.
And, me getting into basketball more into my teenage years, the Knicks just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
Unfortunate.
And my mom, she's not into basketball, but she watches the Knicks with me. And she goes, every year you say next year, every year they say next year. And I'm like, you have to believe.
Yeah,
you have to believe.
It's kind of like Santa Claus or UFOs. Like, you got to believe. You got to believe to buy into it, for sure.
I was there when they booed Porzingis.
Oh.
I was there when he did great things.
Oh.
I was also there when he was a little bit down bad.
Yeah, well, we know. We all know what's going on there. We don't have to say.
we all know what happened.
This is the family-friendly podcast.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not sitting here. We're going to talk a little bit about ceilings and floors in a second, but I'm not going to sit here and say that they're going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm not going to say that we're in a championship. I'm not even going to say that they're going to get past the first round. All I'm saying is that it's nice seeing the Knicks do well. Yes.
Well, I did also want to say this, right? It is nice seeing the Knicks play well. I think when the Knicks play well, the NBA is a much better place. The league is a lot more. I mean, obviously, you're adding a team. Right now, the Knicks are the 4th seed.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more competitive. There's an added extra team in there they play like dogs. They have talent, talent. They have a great head coach in Tom Thibodeau. But you also have to consider the fact that the Knicks now, with the winning that they're doing and the consistency that they're showing, while it's great in the short term, what about the long term?
Well, obviously we got a great group of kids.
We do have a great group of kids. But what I'm saying is, right? I guess like the draft doesn't even necessarily work for the Knicks anyways.
No, it doesn't.
But it almost makes you wonder if this team, I mean, at what level are we going to see this team play at? You understand what I'm saying? For the next couple of years, are they going to continue like this? Are they going to get better? Are they going to get worse? I don't know if this winning right now is doing the Knicks the good that it necessarily seemed like from the outside. Right, because I think a lot of people are enamored, as they should be, with the fact that the Knicks right now are going on a 9-game win streak. They're 4th in the East. At one point, they were 4 games back from the Bucks. I don't know if that's still the case. and a lot of people are enamored by that, as they should be. But we also have to think about the long-term consequences of having a winning season like this. Such a quick turnaround, because it was. Like, let's call a spade a spade. It was a quick turnaround.
Well, they were doing pretty decent the whole season.
No, I'm saying in terms of season on season.
Oh yeah,
this season is I don't want to say it's an anomaly because these guys have earned their spot in the 4th seed.
It's a little bit of a phenomenon.
It's a phenomenon. It's not an anomaly.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal anomaly.
Well, it was just the right culture for it. We got a lot of good young kids. You know what I'm saying? We got Emmanuel quickly coming in here. We made a lot of good moves. We got Derrick Rose back. You know what? And it kind of took the same turn as the Heat did last year.
Yeah.
Where it was like, there's this kind of culture that we lost in the NBA as a whole.
Right.
Where, like, you play really, really, really hard and you do well.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of turned into more of a, you got to get a superstar and then you play well.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? And the Heat kind of proved it last year that if you have a group of kids that want to win, you'll win. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a superstar, so to say. And I think that the Knicks kind of saw that last year and took it. I think in the end you do too. I think it depends on what's going on in the NBA.
Because we saw it in last year's final. I mean, listen, all credit to the Heat. They took the Lakers to 7 games, but the Lakers in the end prevailed.
7 games. 6 games.
6 games? Oh,
5 or 6.
6 games.
They lost. It doesn't matter.
They put up a very valiant fight, but at the end they lost simply because the Lakers are very consistent. They have LeBron James. He's a star. AD. He's a star. They had all these guys that were stars. I just wonder if all this winning that New York is doing right now, let's frame this in terms of playoff time, right? What happens when they get into the playoffs? Is it a first round exit? Is it a second round exit? I mean, this team plays with a lot of grit, but we don't really know. That's my main whole. That's my whole thing is like, what does winning now do for this team? And I think that's something that not a lot of people are thinking about. It's something that I even didn't think about until I walked over here. I said, wait a second. What how is this going to affect the Knicks going forward? Obviously, I know they have a lot of capital. I know they have.
They have a lot. They have, I think, 2 spots left.
Right, so they have room to play with, and
Sure.
obviously now that they have this more competitive team, I think the allure of MSG might bring some more guys in. Tom Thibodeau might bring some more guys in, but I'm just curious. It's almost I want to ask why? Why now are the Knicks doing that? And obviously, a lot of people say, oh, you shouldn't tank and all that stuff, and you should want to be competitive and you should want to play competitive basketball. But it almost seems to me like you get into the playoffs, but then what? Right? Because think about it. They're going to, I don't mean to be a cynicist, but the Knicks are going to get bounced by, I think, a better team at some point.
You're worried about them going into limbo.
Yeah, like, you know what? Because I'm an Oklahoma City Thunder fan.
Yeah, no, they're kind of in limbo
They're
right now.
kind of in limbo right now, except the difference with us is we have all this draft
A lot of
capital.
draft picks.
So I just don't know. I don't know what the Knicks are going for right now. It seems like they're just content with winning games, which is fine, but at some point you got to say, what next? What do we want to do next? That's my whole thing. And I don't know if that's something you've thought about. I wanted to kind of see your reaction.
Oh no,
to that.
I have an answer.
Oh, okay.
The Knicks are a big market. The allure of MSG is big. It hasn't worked out for us recently, and probably in the 2010s, but it has worked out in the past.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Carmelo Anthony, for example.
Sure.
So, Amari Stoudemire, you know what I'm saying? J.R. Smith, you know what I'm saying? We had a good team at one point. So I think that the Knicks got a little bit unlucky when it comes to draft picks, and that's all right. We got a group of kids that are willing to fight, that are willing to grow. All we need now is someone to just give them that one little push. And you know who it's going to be? Zion Williamson.
Yeah, he did say that he liked the allure of being in MSG, and he said it's his favorite place outside of the Pelican Stadium to play at.
He was supposed to go to the Knicks.
He was.
The Knicks were supposed to get the number 1 pick, but they didn't. I think that when his contract ends in 2022, I believe I looked it up. I believe that when his contract ends, he goes to MSG and he plays with his old friend R.J. Barrett, and then that will be enough talent to attract a big superstar.
See, it might very well be, right? But you have to consider the fact that Derrick Rose is older. He's a great asset to have. He brings leadership. They do have a lot of young, talented guys. Mitchell Robinson. I know they got Nerlens Noel. He's been going insane on the defensive end. A great shot-blocking center. And then they have Julius Randle. They have emerging talent such as R.J. Barrett. So the allure to play there is definitely strengthened. But I wonder if you had the let's put ourselves in the shoes of players, right? If you had a chance to go to the Knicks.
Right.
Or let's say you're Zion Williamson, right, and you're balling out for 30 a night, and there are a lot of teams that are looking at you because a lot of teams will look at him. He's an extremely talented kid, without a shadow of doubt in my mind. Do you go to the Knicks or do you go to, say, I don't know, the Nuggets? Say what I'm trying to think here. Just any like the Celtics, just hypothetically, aren't there teams that would hold more of an interest in a player's mind? And again, this is not me being a Knicks cynicist. I think the Knicks have been fantastic, and I really like for them to get some better players.
Yeah.
Right? But, you got to look at it in that sense, too, where it's like, do you go, if you're a talent like Zion, to a team in the Knicks that's kind of like building up right now and is competitive but is still hoping to get those?
Now.
Or do you go and you have a much better chance of contending for a chip? That, I think, will be the question. And that is still what leaves that kind of question in my mind where it's like, well, what do we see? Do we see this Knicks team in the future? But I do like the idea of them getting a couple of killers. And
yeah. I think
I'm
Zion,
rooting for this Knicks team as much as it sounds like I'm bullying them this podcast.
I think Zion goes to the Knicks just. All right, well, obviously it's kind of a radical claim, but I think that it's very possible just because the fact that RJ is there, and they're good friends.
That's true.
They've been playing together they played AAU together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? RJ can sit there and be like, yo, come to the Knicks. You know what I'm saying? We'll have another spot after you come. We'll add somebody else. We can get somebody else here. We got a good teams. The Nuggets, sure, whatever. The Nuggets are good. Celtics, Boston Celtics, Miami Heat. You can go where you want. And also, I think it's also more alluring for Zion to come to the Knicks because
and have it be his team.
Yeah,
exactly. I was just about to say there are some guys that will want, like a Dame Lillard, that will want to go to a team and make it their own and try to bring it to the playoffs organically. Yeah.
Right. And also, it's like the Pelicans are not, I'm saying I gave the Pelicans a lot of praise just because because of the great young core that they had.
Right.
But they don't look like they're trying to hold it together. They look like they're trying to get rid of Lonzo.
It could very well be.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that team kind of fell apart a little bit. And then, Zion's looking for somewhere to go, and his best friend RJ's like, come over here. Come win with the Knicks. Come to Madison Square Garden.
Got great pizza over here.
Yeah, we got great pizza over
And
here.
pizza.
Could you imagine the hero that Zion would be if in his career he brought a championship home to the Knicks? So the first one in 50 years.
Dude, could you imagine the heroes that he'd be eating in New York City?
Oh, my God. And you know how much he loves those,
That's what I'm saying. Very, very interesting. I want to see where these Knicks go. I want to see what they do this season and in future seasons and just in free agency or over the course of the draft, because you can obviously get some late round diamonds. So, just because you don't draft in the top 10 doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to get a quality player. I want to see, because they got to steal this year in Emmanuel quickly. So it could definitely happen again.
No, absolutely. And, you're right. I see Derrick Rose probably retiring with the Knicks or retiring quickly after the Knicks. So, obviously within the near future, we're going to have to get a good point guard. We're going to have to get someone to fill that gap. But I think it's very realistic that Zion would consider the Knicks after his contract is over.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially with the way the Pelicans are looking right now.
Yeah, for me, it's just a little bit too many questions just at this point that I want.
I think his contract ends next year.
Yeah.
The end of next year.
So we'll see what happens. But without further ado, that has been the episode for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys.
Thank you for 50 big ones, by the way.
50
That's
big
huge.
ones.
That's huge.
We just started our next project, but we're definitely going to continue doing this.
Absolutely. So tune into the Jacob Cooperman Show. Stick around for episode 51 coming next Saturday.
Thank you, guys.
Peace out.
Peace.